Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today's video is very exciting. It is my vlog of a trip that I am hosting here in New York City where I live. I'm hosting some of you, a small group of patrons and followers. I'm very excited, a little nervous. I've never done this before. It's been a lot of planning, but I think it's gonna be cool. We're doing so many fun things. We have a long bookish weekend in the city planned. We're staying at a library themed hotel. How exciting is that? And I'm gonna take you along with me. But first, I still have a couple of days before it starts, and 3 people opted in for welcome baskets, although they're not really technically in baskets. So why don't I show you how I'm assembling these bags? So instead of baskets, I thought it would be cool to give everybody a useful tote bag. We're going to be doing a lot of book shopping, and I think these are so cute. They're from the Strand, which is an iconic indie bookstore, and it's got all of the New York things on it. So I think this is perfect for what we're doing. Everyone coming on the trip, not just the people who got the baskets, are getting these little bookstore passport books that I created, so they can sort of put notes of books that they buy at the different bookstores we're visiting. I just thought these would be cute for a little memory thing. And I got a stamp that has a cat reading a book. How cute. I'm also personalizing them. I have a couple of arcs for people who read physically who ordered one that I think they might like. I've got a whole bunch of snacks that are going in. I found these adorable bookmarks from a local artist. We have some goodies from a local chocolate shop. This is lilac chocolates. I've sent them to people before and they've been a huge hit. And then I had to include some Tate's Bake Shop cookies. They are very good. They are a local New York brand and people like them. And then kind of a mix of other drinks and snack items, some little merch things that I have. So let's assemble. This one, I remembered I had this cool Little Women mug that I've been meaning to give away, so I'm gonna include this since this is not a person who reads physically. And there we have our 3 welcome bags all ready to go. They just need an itinerary. I'm on my way to the Library Hotel. This is in Manhattan, and it was an amazing place to stay. It was honestly perfect for the weekend that we had. Look at all the books. The entire thing is library themed. Each room has a different theme. Each floor is different. I was on the geography and history floor, and I was in the ancient history room. Look at that. And what was really cool about it is that each room has books themed to whatever the room is. So this is a petite suite. This is their smallest room that they have. It was very comfortable for me by myself, but the artwork is ancient history themed. All of the books in the room are ancient history themed. Honestly, so well done, and this was such a great place to stay. We loved it. Oh, this is so nice. They left a little chocolate bar with a note, and look at that, a Library Hotel tote. That is so lovely. Oh my gosh. Here's the bathroom. Oh my god, it is so nice. This hotel is really lovely. They're taking really good care of us. They were willing to put the bags that I made for people in their rooms. So let's go take a look at some more of the hotel. On the second floor is one of, I think, the best perks of the hotel. This is the reading room, and honestly, not a lot of people used it, so we kind of had free run of it a lot of the time. It had free snacks and drinks, a great coffee machine, and just a quiet, nice space to read. It's open 24 hours a day, and you don't have to pay for any of the stuff. It's just one of the perks with it being a resort hotel. It was so good. They had sparkling waters, which I am a huge fan of, so I had lots of liqueurs. Upstairs at the top they have a bar. This is a peek at it before it's open, so you can kind of see what it looks like. It was so beautiful. It's up on the roof, and it's got really great views of the area in the city. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so beautiful out here, right in the middle of everything. Oh my gosh, look at this. I will definitely be using this hotel again because I am planning another trip and I would stay here again. Everybody had a fantastic time. They even let me check in early so I could do some, camera photo stuff before everybody arrived. Really, really excellent and perfect for a nerdy bookish weekend. Then I ran downstairs to change before everybody safely arrived, or just about everyone. We had a couple people joining us just for part of the weekend, but first we headed to Bryant Park and our first bookstore of many, Kinokuniya, which is kind of cool. It's a Japanese bookstore, so they have regular books on the main level, but if you go up the escalator, it's all manga. And it was honestly a little bit overwhelming how much they had. They have a lot of English stuff. They also have stuff in Japanese. So if you are a fan of manga, highly recommend visiting this place. It's in, like I said, Bryant Park. And then we went to the main branch of the New York Public Library with the lions and everything. And it was beautiful. I always love visiting here, and they have a different rotation of like art installations, which I think is really cool. So they had this one on the Arctic, and then oh, this is just like gorgeous. The architecture is beautiful, but they had this really cool installation that's these treasures in their collection, and they were amazing. This included everything from physical objects like this ballerina costume, old Winnie the Pooh toys, or the toys that inspired the original Winnie the Pooh stuff, and really incredible antique and even ancient books. This was amazing, like handwritten illuminated manuscripts from like the 1600s. Here's my outfit for the first night. We've got dinner with an author and two publicists from different companies. I haven't told anyone about the publicists though, and I think we're getting some swag and maybe some books. I'm very excited, so after a few photos, we headed out for our welcome dinner at Tacombi, which is one of my favorite places for really great Mexican food in New York. I forgot to get footage of the outside of the restaurant, but they served us amazingly, and we had dinner with Celestine Martin, a romance author who does great cozy romances, and two publicists, Dana from Forever Romance and Giselle from Tor. Huge thanks to all of them for joining us. Everyone had an amazing time. The food was great, and Dana even brought some ARCs and bags for everyone, which was a really cool surprise. Such a fun dinner. The food was mostly a hit, and I picked up Hers for the Weekend by Helena Greer, and I'll have What He's Having by Deep Karam, authors I've read before and really enjoyed. Good morning. It is day 2. I'm gonna go grab some coffee from the reading room and maybe a snack, and then do my makeup. We're meeting at 9 a.m. to head to breakfast. I love how this is like perfectly set up to do my makeup. Day 2 was all about book shopping. So first I needed a second cup of coffee. I will have a third later on. So we're gonna head off to breakfast to get fueled and ready for a long day of shopping and walking. We went to Banter NYC, which is a place I love. They have amazing house-made banana bread. Everything I've ever had from there was great, and it was a hit for everybody. This is what I had for breakfast. Then we headed to our first bookstore, which I'd always wanted to go to. This is You and Me Books. It is primarily Asian books, which is really cool. It opened during the pandemic. All the bookstores we stopped by you can find in Lower Manhattan, but this one was beginning in Chinatown, and I did pick up a book. I tried to get one at almost every bookstore we went to, and this is what I picked up. We'll do a full book haul later on. Our second bookstore is Sweet Pickle Books, which is really fun because you can trade in used books for a jar of pickles 2 days a week, which is amazing. You can also buy homemade pickles, so it's all used books. And I love stores like this because there's always treasures that you never might expect to find. And I found something kind of cool and unexpected. Again, we'll do a book haul at the end of the video and I'll show you specifically what I picked up and why it was cool, but this place was definitely a hit. The Blue Stockings Cooperative Bookstore. This is a women and trans-owned bookstore owned by the workers there. You are required to wear a mask, and it's also just an amazing community resource. I loved this tote bag. It's a reference to Kashil's Dart, if you didn't know. And yeah, you're gonna find lots of indie books, queer books, they offer community resources, they have coffee, they do Narcan training, all kinds of stuff, and I did pick up a book there. Then we went to P&T Knitwear, which is a weird title, but it's because of what the building used to be, apparently, and it's a gorgeous bookstore. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. It's also got really cool kind of stadium type seating for book events, and we just happened to be there on their 2-year anniversary, which was neat. So they were offering some little free sort of mystery books that you could pick up. It would just have like a bit on it saying what it is. I got a middle grade fantasy, and you'll see what it is that I got. All of these were advanced reader copies, and I just thought this was a fun little free way to give back to the community and celebrate their 2-year anniversary. I got The Selkie's Daughter, which is a middle grade fantasy, obviously, and it looks really cute. So we had a great time there, by Linda Crotta Brennan, I believe. Next is Book Club Bar, which does in fact have a bar. They serve coffee and drinks. I love this place. They do book clubs. I go to an in-person book club here, and it's just really cute and cozy. The managers are absolutely wonderful, and I picked up my book for next month's romance book club. Then we went to Codex. Codex is another kind of cool hole-in-the-wall used bookstore, and this is a place that I found one of my favorite books on my shelf that was amazing. So again, used bookstores, you just never know what treasures you're going to find that you might not find anywhere else, and it was great. Lastly, I think this was our last stop, we went to Housing Works, which I've been to before. You've probably seen it on my channel if you've been here a while. It's a nonprofit bookstore, and the proceeds go to a good cause. All of the workers there are volunteer, and all of the books are donated, so it's really cool. After that, a long hot day of walking and shopping, we went to White Horse Tavern, which is a really cool historical tavern that a lot of literary people frequented, including James Baldwin. We had some very good and very strong drinks. You can see my face. And then I had to take people by Times Square because I was like, you have to see it. Is it overwhelming and wild? Yes. All right, we're in the reading room for a pajama reading party after a very long day. We'll take in showers. This will be good, and we had to have it to ourselves. Okay, so what is everyone reading?
I'm reading Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Roachich. I don't know if I say her name.
What is it, like a fantasy romance?
Fantasy romance. It's got some, Throne of Glass vibes. I love those fantasy romances, so here we go.
Love it.
I am reading That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. It is a fantasy romance rom-com.
We're
fantastic.
having a fantasy romance night. Love it.
Well, apparently, I brought a book to throw away when I'm done.
Oh no.
You're not taking it back with?
No, I've got other things to take back.
That is
just a collection of suspenseful, who knows.
And I am reading the 3rd volume of The Apothecary Diaries for our Patreon book club. So I'm going to finish that up. And it's really fun. It's like a, what would I call this? It's like a historical mystery manga. It's fun. I like it. What are you reading?
I am reading The City of Golden Lead, which is the second book in a trilogy with a prequel. It is a fantasy series from the 60s that I read growing up, and I'm rereading to see if it holds up.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Cool.
I am reading A Choose Your Own Adventure, Danger in the Anchor Mine, because I love it.
I love it. I want to guess how much reading we actually got done. Basically none. We just talked the whole night, but we brought books. We had good intentions, and we had a great time. It's day 3, and I started my morning with breakfast at Madison and Vine, the connected restaurant to the hotel. This is what I had. The omelet was delicious. The potatoes could have done with a little more seasoning. The coffee was good. Overall, pretty solid way to start my day. And then we headed out for our first location at the Morgan Library and Museum. We picked up a couple more guests joining us just for that day, which was fun. And we had a personalized guided tour. If you've never been, this place is gorgeous. Highly recommend. It's got an incredible collection of ancient books and old books. I mean, look at this room. It's so beautiful. There's artwork, there's different rotating displays. Absolutely amazing. Our tour guide was wonderful, and we learned a lot of really cool stuff. Then there was even a special exhibit on Beatrix Potter that was there for a limited time that we got to see as well. Definitely recommend if you've never been here before. It's also worth noting that if you've read The Personal Librarian, this is the library that she was the librarian of, and there she is, Bella Costa Green. Then we headed to the subway through Grand Central Station, just to peek at this gorgeous building with the ceiling, and we went to brunch at Alice's Teacup. This is so cute. There's 2 locations here, and we had this red rose themed room to ourselves, and it was really wonderful. Yeah, we'll have to have like our servers like that.
Oh, that's so funny.
They even had a vegan option for people who wanted that. It was a lovely brunch with a bunch of different teas, so everybody seemed to really enjoy that as well. From there, we walked over to Central Park, and I'll just let you hear kind of the birds and maybe put a little music in the background, but this was just really nice. It was such a beautiful day, and I showed them around some parts in the middle of Central Park. If it looks familiar, this is the Bethesda fountain from the opening sequence of the Friends TV show.
Okay, that's good. Okay, okay.
It is New York. The next stop on our journey was the Met. This is the main branch of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which is gorgeous. It's enormous. I've gotten lost in this before, so we hit some highlights. They had this really cool limited time exhibition all about the Harlem Renaissance. They even had some first edition copies of books by Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston, so this was a really cool exhibit. And then we just kind of wandered around. I showed them some highlights of things that I like, but it's enormous. You could go so many times and never see everything. I've been many times and have never seen everything, but it was great. Horse armor. Then it was time to go back and change for our final dinner. Although I will say the later part of the day we kind of split up. A few people went book shopping, some people went back to Central Park with me, but we went to have dinner at the Smith, and this was our final really evening all together because the next day some people were leaving earlier than others, but we had a really nice dinner with drinks and dessert. It was delicious. I had salmon, and everybody seemed to really enjoy their food, so it was a success. And we had such an amazing time just like building relationships and getting to know each other, talking books. It was so much fun. Our final day with those those who were left with me and had the energy to go walking, we went to the High Line, which is one of my favorite lesser known places to go. It used to be an abandoned elevated railway that has gotten changed into a public park with plants and art installations, amazing views of the city. It's not super long, but it's a really nice walk, and the weather was perfect for this. It was gorgeous. After a light lunch, our final stop of the day was some book shopping in Union Square. We went to Barnes & Noble, which is the New York flagship store. It's huge. I love it. This is my Barnes & Noble I usually go to. They have one of the biggest sci-fi fantasy sections that I've seen. Here you go. Take a look. It goes on and just keeps going and going, and there's more after that. And then there's also several shelves of romance, so it's a great store if you're ever here. It started raining, so we covered up and went to the Strand, which is also an amazing, iconic bookstore in New York City. We had to hit it up. And this was our final stop of the trip before we said goodbye to the few people who were left after all of that. It was such a wonderful weekend, and I'm excited to do it again later in the year. All right, as promised, I have a little book haul from the trip. It was so much fun. I had an amazing time. Everyone else did too. And I'm really happy it went well because this was the first time I've done something like this. I want to do more of them because it did go really well. But yeah, a lot of planning went into it. I feel like it went great and everybody made friends, and it was great. Book-filled, fun weekend in New York, and I am working on plans for another trip with a whole other itinerary, so stay tuned. All right, so let's take a look at all of the books that I got during the trip. First, the wonderful Dana, publicist at Forever Romance, did bring ARCs and tote bags for everyone, which was super nice, and the two that I picked up, I know I mentioned this earlier, are Hers for the Weekend by Helena Greer. I really like her stuff. This one says, the relationship is fake, but the feelings are real. So fake dating, sapphic romance, and then I'll have what he's having. And I'm wondering if this is a take on When Harry Met Sally, but make it gay. Is that what this is? Okay, kind of. It starts with like a one-night stand and then their paths cross again later. So yeah. Couple of romances there, thanks to Forever Romance. Then on the day that we went to all of those bookstores, I got something at all but one of them. I found a book at almost everywhere. From You and Me Books, I got A Fall Love Story by Lone Lee. This sounds really cute, and I saw this author on a panel a couple of years back, but it is a YA rom-com about two teenagers whose parents own rival restaurants who fall for each other. Love that. At Sweet Pickle Books, I discovered a copy of The Season by Sarah McLean. Turns out, before she wrote adult historical romance, she wrote YA historical romance, and this sounds so fun and messy. It's Regency era. I'm living for this cover, which is very of its time, but I thought that would be a fun thing to read at some point. From Blue Stockings Cooperative, I picked up a book that's been on my TBR for quite a while. I've heard amazing things about it. This is Hijab Butch Blues by Lamia H. It says it's a daring, provocative, and radically hopeful coming-of-age memoir by a queer hijabi Muslim immigrant who, by interpreting stories from the Quran, finds the strength, purpose, and self-acceptance to finally build the life she wants. This was a Stonewall Award winner. Again, I've heard great things about it. I've been wanting to pick up a copy for a while, so I grabbed that. P&T Knitwear Books. I got one of these new covers that they did for the Alana series. I just bought the first one. I eventually want to get the rest of them, but this is one of my all-time favorite series. It's kind of a middle grade to YA crossover fantasy series, and they just made them in these new gorgeous covers in trade paperbacks. I really like these covers, so I picked that up. At Book Club Bar, I got a signed copy of You Should Be So Lucky by Cat Sebastian. This is a queer historical romance set in the 1950s, I believe. A grumpy sunshine queer romance between the new star shortstop stuck in a batting slump and the reporter assigned to reluctantly cover his first season. Okay, 1960, so it's set in 1960. This is the book we're reading for book club in June, so I thought it'd be great to have it. And I love Book Club Art, they're so great. Then from Codex, I got Saga Volume 11. I'm a couple volumes behind. I have Volume 10. This was a used copy of Volume 11. I really need to catch up, but I love this sci-fi graphic novel series. Lastly, on our final day, I didn't buy any books at Barnes & Noble. I did find some gifts for people though, but at the Strand, I found a discounted copy of this special edition of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I can't say that I love this book necessarily. I read it years ago and thought it was kind of boring, but it's so pretty. And it's a Penguin Vitae edition. And I kind of want to revisit it at some point in the future because I was very young when I read it and I know it is considered a classic. So that is my book haul from the trip. Thank you so much to everybody who came and made it an amazing weekend. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts. And I hope you enjoyed this view of our bookish weekend in New York City. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.